just keep working hard and things will come your way if you work hard, to not stress about the future, staying balanced, staying focused, not wanting to give up, like, mentally.
Welcome back, guys. Today we are back in the Doghouse, and today we have special athlete Bella Ruggiano, who plays for NSU soccer.
Hey, guys.
And today we're going to talk about everything that she's going to do to prepare for the upcoming season. And in the off season, what have you done, Bella, to make sure you were very prepared going into it?
Yeah, so spring is the off season. It's all about getting prepared for the fall and getting the team prepared for the fall. So this spring, our focus is really on team bonding and getting the team more used to each other, since we are a really new team since the fall. And personally, just lifting more in the gym and getting more into the technical side of things in the field.
Yeah, that's a great thing to talk about, because I was going to ask you, what do you do, off season besides work on the field, like to get your body in ultra condition, like working out, weightlifting, a nutrition, like what is it?
Yeah, so it's really important to have like a good balance of all those three things, because spring isn't just for, the field. It's also for the team bonding and all the team, relationships that can grow in the spring, because we do have a lot more time to do that. So we start off in 8-hour weeks, which is like 8 hours maximum allowed with the ball and on the field and stuff. So we do have a lot more time outside of soccer to just strengthen our relationships within the team and have more free time, which is always nice. And then another important thing too is to lift more in the gym. So in season, we only lift like once a week, and we don't go that heavy because we do more mobility, stretching, because we have so many games. But in spring now, we're able to max out and lift as much as we can. And we are doing 3 times a week in spring too. So I think it is really good for the team and have that team development and with relationships on the field and in the gym, just so it can help our team grow for the fall.
And as a veteran player, because you're almost done with playing soccer at NSU because you've been there, what is your responsibility for the younger generation coming up? Like, do you have the responsibility telling them, reminding them, like, hey, you got to come and practice and do this, this, and that before they start on the field? Like, what is it? Yeah,
so I would say the most important thing is to lead by example and just to show them how to work through like what you do on the field and in general. Just like show up on time and be a good role model for the younger generation. I'll be a senior in the fall, so that's really important for me to be like the most hardworking player I can be, and to show the freshmen and people coming in and the underclassmen that that's the example that we want to lead by, and that's the example that we want to show, and that's what we're going to show them for them to be able to replicate that in the future and be a role model for their future freshmen.
How important is team bonding in the off season to boost the morale of the new people coming on the field, so, the younger girls?
Yeah, I think it's really important. We had 15 new players come in from the fall and 11 returners. So our team was mostly new. We had a couple transfers and freshmen in that mix. So we did have a lot of diversity within our team. And since we had a fall right off the bat, we were kind of just pushed in the swing of things and didn't really have much time for team bondment outside of soccer. So I think it is really important to get the team together in spring, since we do have more of that time to get together and do something other than soccer for the first time in a couple of months, because it is really important to know the players individually and personally rather than just on the field.
I mean, for sure, it only makes your team bond much stronger than it already is, and it's going to show when you guys are playing on the field, like your communication level is only going to be higher.
Right. It does connect to the field as well.
I would say so, because you can kind of like read them better because you know them as a person compared to just as a player.
Yeah, and being a player, like you can definitely feel the connection on the field off the field when you do have that good relationship versus like knowing somebody, barely knowing somebody, meeting them for the first time and playing with them. There's a huge difference.
And who is the biggest rival team upcoming season that you have to prepare for and you guys want to beat, obviously? Who is that team?
Yeah, I think it would be Lamar. It's more of like a newcomer rivalry for us. We lost to them in the semifinals of conference last season in PKs, and they won the whole thing. So I feel like it would be a newcomer rivalry for us. And also, my roommate transferred from there.
Oh, wow.
So we do know a couple players.
So is she like giving the inside information on like how the players play this way and what you need to do to defend them and stuff like that?
Yeah, so she knows quite a lot about the players and how they play. So it is nice to have that little insight. But it is a team that we look forward to playing just because they give us such a high competition. And it is fun to play in and fun to watch as well.
And can you explain like what PKs are to the audience that, you know, for those that don't know what that is?
Yeah, so basically a PK is a penalty kick. So if with Lamar, like we tied them 1-1 in the game regular time, and in overtime we play 2 10-minute quarters, I'm pretty sure. And then we tied that. So then we went to penalty kicks, where you set the ball kind of below the 18-yard line, in the middle of the 18 and the 6-yard line. And then you just have the goalie and the player who kicks it, and you try to get it into the goal. And then it's kind of like a competition. So you have 5 players from one team and 5 players from the other team. And whoever gets the most PKs in that section wins the game.
Mm-hmm. And after that like heartbreaking loss, I'm sure like your team was specifically practicing for PKs just in case you guys are in that situation for next season.
Yeah, we did practice a lot of PKs. I would just say it's so different when you practice them versus when you actually step on the field and have to take one, because all that pressure and everyone watching, especially since it was in the conference tournament. So it's a lot of pressure for everyone on the field.
I mean, it sucks being that person kicking that PK because you're thinking my whole team's relying on me. The crowd is relying on me. If I miss this, my life's over. That's how they're probably thinking. So there's like a lot of adrenaline like coming into that kick.
Yeah, it's definitely mental. I would say a lot of like playing the game soccer is mental. And especially with PKs, it's like you have to be mentally locked in order to put it in the back of the net. So
what do you do to, you know, block the outside noise per se?
Yeah, there's like kind of this phrase you have to like think like Dory from Nemo. She has like short-term memory loss. So it's easier to like not think about it and kind of push it away and just like focus on the next play.
Yeah, I like that. So just block, you know, everything that you hear outside you and just focus on the game. And that's the best way to, you know, overcome it. Yeah,
so that works like mentally, and it also works like on the field as well, like with PKs versus being in the game. So like with PKs, you kind of just block out the noise, block out the people. And then like in the game, if you like mess up on one play, you just like have short-term memory and focus on the next play and not really think about the past.
And what position do you play on the field?
So I'm a forward.
Okay. And what do you think is your biggest strength when you're on the field as a forward to help your teammates score goals?
Yeah, I would say my speed and my strength on the field really helps me like connect passes with my teammates, and I help them get into goal scoring opportunities. I would say like it's not an individual like player thing to have. I would say it's more of like a team strength that we all work together and try to get in the back of the net. But personally, I would say my speed and my strength and communication. Yeah,
that's awesome. And when you see the younger athletes on the field and they're nervous, what do you tell them just to like relax and stay focused?
Yeah, I try to help them by talking to them and saying like, hey, look, like you gotta like think like Dory, you know, you gotta have a short-term memory. And just to like calm them down, ease their nerves. But most of it too is really coming from experience. So like playing in these college games is really scary, but it comes with experience. Like each and every game, you could tell that the freshmen will get more confident And then we also try to tell them like next play, like, don't worry, you got it. And it's really nice to hear from your teammates, like that encouragement as well, because like everyone messes up on the field.
Well, it makes you want to like, correct yourself and do the right thing without feeling the pressure. If I do this, I'm going to mess up and it's going to be even worse. So if that encouragement is everything.
Yeah. And especially coming from your teammates, because we're all going through it too. We're all on the same page. We all mess up all the time. So it is okay to mess up on the field. And it's nice to hear that encouragement from your teammates who are also like doing the same thing as you.
As an experienced player, what is your favorite moment on the field?
Definitely scoring goals. Like individually, that's the best feeling anyone could ever have on the field. I would say as a forward, but definitely getting to that moment with the team and celebrating with the team would be my favorite moment.
That's the biggest stat, though, too, in soccer, right? Goals and then assists.
What was that?
Goals is the biggest stat in soccer.
Yeah, it is, and definitely like winning the games, like the big games and having upsets. Do play like a lot of bigger teams. So we going into the conference, we beat Corpus Christi, which was a really fun game to celebrate too. So that's also my favorite moment.
Well, what's your favorite celebration when you guys walk off with the win? Do you guys have like some of you guys slide in the grass like with the knees? I see that like in professional soccer in Europe. Is there something you do that is like, rewarding?
Well, I think that's more of like professional thing.
Yeah.
For girls. We just score, we like jump up and down.
Oh, okay.
We're so excited.
Well, like in a circle with a bunch of you?
Yeah,
Okay.
like that's mostly how it goes. We just like celebrate with our teammates, and we all get really excited on the field.
And who has pushed you to be in the position you are today? Is it family, friends, other?
Yeah, I would say I really look up to my cousin on my dad's side. Her name is Cece.
Okay.
She has kind of been an older sister figure for me. She played at Melbourne High School soccer with me when I was there for a year. And then she went on to play at Florida Institute of Technology, Florida Tech. And she played her 2 years there. So I really do look up to her because she is a really hardworking player. And when I was there, it was nice to have that older mentor, bigger sister kind of role when I was first starting out as a freshman. So it was nice to be involved with her and her friends at that time. So I really do look up to her, even in real life, like outside of soccer, because she's just been my bigger sister. Like, because I don't have a bigger sister. I'm the bigger sister to my younger sister. So it's nice to have that mentor on the field and in life. So
do you think she was inspiring in the way where it's like, okay, I want to do what you did for me, but for my teammates going into next season?
Right, 100%. I think she was definitely a role model for me and my teammates. And that's the game of soccer. Like, we'll grow up and then be the role model for the younger generation as well. So it will just keep on going.
And who got you into soccer growing up? Like, what was the reason you played soccer?
I would say my dad, my parents. We live on the Hoover Fields, so our fence backed up to the fields. So we would be outside on the field playing soccer whenever we would get the chance. So I started soccer when I was 5, and that just kind of inspired me to keep playing. And I'm very determined as a person, so I stuck with it. I didn't want to quit, and it really brought me where I am today.
I mean, you're out of state playing soccer, so you have to be that determined to basically, try something new, leave your whole comfortable friend group back at home, Melbourne, and, step forward with a leap of faith.
Yeah, it definitely was a leap of faith for me because I came from Jacksonville University. So after my sophomore year, I transferred from there and came here to Northwestern State. I would say it was definitely a tough decision, but it was a decision I needed to make soccer-wise. So, I mean, everything that got through me through the younger years of soccer life to now is just, where I am today with soccer.
If you could tell your younger self advice, what would you give your younger self as you right now?
I would say just keep working hard and things will come your way if you work hard, to not stress about the future.
Yeah.
I mean, last summer was a huge step for me to make in the transfer process. So I would tell her to not worry and to don't stress, and everything will come naturally. And yeah.
Were you crying or sad when you had to leave all your teammates that you grew a big bond with?
Yeah, I was definitely really sad. And I realized sophomore year, my fall season, that I needed to go. So it was sad, like kind of being in the moment and like knowing that I won't be back in that moment. And then spring as well. But I was definitely sad leaving. Like it hit me when I left and had to drive home.
Yeah.
I was crying, but it was just like a building block in life that I needed to make the move and get out of my comfort zone and hop in the transfer portal.
I think that's just going to make you grow as a person even more, though, like taking that leap of faith, what you just did, because you know it's right, even though it's hard to do, but you're like, I have to do it anyways for my self-interest.
Yeah, 100%. Like it was definitely so hard to make that decision, but it's something I knew I had to do. I knew I had to go out of my comfort zone. And it's really hard for people to go out of their comfort zones because it's just like you want to stay where you know everything. So it was definitely hard for me to get out of my comfort zone and do that because I've never really lived out of the state. And coming to Louisiana, like, it was just scary. It was scary.
Your new friends there,
really
have they been welcoming you into the new, state and everything?
Yeah, so my teammates have been really welcoming.
Okay.
The whole process was, it was amazing. Like having to move here and meet a lot of new people, it's definitely pushed me to be a better person and changed me for the better. Because now I get to have this experience in Louisiana.
So do you think it's made you like more mature in a way because you did something like that you didn't want to do and it was probably one of the hardest decisions in your life that you had to make?
Yes. Yeah, it definitely made me more mature and more like grateful for life. And also made me like lean towards God a little bit because he like kind of transformed my path. And, like with being an athlete and everything, it was hard to kind of be like, why this, why transferring? So that kind of like helped me to knowing in the back of my mind that I'll be okay.
Yeah, you're going to do awesome. That you should not worry as much. And, if you could tell girls in the younger generation, like advice to let go of all the stress, what would you tell them to become the soccer player they want to be?
Yeah, I would say just to not worry because it is a lot of anxiety and stress going into the transfer portal. And just to keep being proactive in sending out emails and showing who you are to the coaches. But most importantly is to not stress. Like, stress can ruin everything. It could be terrible. It could like lead you down to a terrible path. But just to stay focused on who you are, know who you are as a player, and just to continue to have a positive mindset and reach out to the coaches and stay on top of it.
Speaking of how this is your last season, what are your expected goals going into it?
I would say it is really hard for me to know that this is my last season coming up. So I would definitely want to stay hardworking and being the hardworking and most determined player on the field because you can't get these moments back. Yeah. You can't like get after the season's over and I'm going to wish I was back on the field. I would wish that I was the most hardworking player on the field. So that's like my goal for me right now is to just be that player. So when I look back, I don't have any regrets.
And just give it 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And it is easier said than done because we are doing a lot of work here in the spring, but even like hardworking mentally, like staying balanced, staying focused, not wanting to give up, like mentally, like staying in it, staying focused in every practice, every lift, every game. Just because if I look back and now if I was not mentally in it and not focused, I would be like, dang, I wish I was more aware of my surroundings, more focused within the practices because they were my last couple practices ever.
Yeah. And because your schedule is so tight, how do you keep up with schoolwork? Because you're lifting, practicing every other day or every day.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to keep up with other things outside of soccer, especially schoolwork. In spring, we try to schedule more like harder classes because we do have more time to finish them.
Yep.
But it's definitely a struggle because we have so many things that we have to do for soccer. But I would say like after practice, like after dinner, like me and my roommates are doing homework. On the weekends, we're doing homework. Just any free time that we have to get that done. And it really helps to stay on top of it with like scheduling it, and you're having a planner. So you know what stuff is due and when you need to do it throughout the week.
And does it work better when like you and your teammates maybe do homework together rather than alone? Like if you have the same class, maybe study together in a study hall, so that way you guys can like push each other to get it done?
Yeah, for sure. A couple of my teammates are in the same class as me and my roommates, so it is helpful to sit down and study together. And even with like, I took a class last year that my teammates are taking now, so it is helpful that I can help them and vice versa with all the classes that we have here.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys can work together, and it just makes your life easier because you are spending most of your life working towards this goal in soccer to win games.
Right. And it is helpful too within our team just to get, extra help because like even with the upperclassmen, like they've already taken the classes too. So it's nice to get advice from them and help from them because they've already been through it.
Yeah, I mean, that just makes your life easier, so you might as well take advantage of that.
Right. And it is nice to have our teammates like as resources because we're only going to be together for a short period of time. So it's nice to be surrounded by a group of girls who have been through that and a group of girls that we can lean on each other for.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys are kind of like a family then.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
It is nice because after my time here, I won't be surrounded by a group of girls like this playing a sport ever in my life. So it is nice to have that quality moments with my teammates.
And do you think like all said and done, you're done playing soccer, do you think like you and your teammates are going to be like, close, or how is that going to work when you're done with that?
Yeah, I would say it's like a girlhood thing.
Okay.
Like if you're teammates, you'll always be there for each other because we've gone through a lot together. So I would say outside of soccer, when we're all said and done, like we're teammates forever. You can't take that back. And it is a special bond for, a relationship being teammates. So I would say, yeah, we would definitely stick together. But it's different for like me and my roommates. Like we're really close. So I feel like we'll stay more in touch.
I mean, you spend more time together, so like that's kind of the obvious, right?
Yeah. We are really close and we're all best friends. So we'll definitely be staying in touch after this is all over.
Yeah, that's great that, the sport doesn't just provide you guys opportunities like on the field, but also off the field, and you're making like long lasting friendships.
Right. It does bring us all together, and it is a unique experience versus like the normal college route. So it is nice to have a different experience than everyone else.
And speaking of that, what is your plan said and done when you are finished at NSU? What are your like life plans per se?
I want to do sales, hopefully medical sales. But also I just want to like travel the world too, because that's something I never really got to experience playing soccer. I had to miss out on a bunch of stuff, but in turn, I got to have this experience with soccer. So I would say after my season, after I'm done with soccer, I just want to go see the world and focus on my job.
Are there like 3 places in particular you like want to see really bad?
Yeah, I really want to go see Italy.
Italy?
Because my parents went there a couple of years ago and everybody went like abroad last summer. And I was like, dang, like I'm going to do that when soccer's over because
like all the snap stories, you're like, oh, water, wine. Why am I not there?
Like Europe, like I want to go so bad.
Yeah.
But like over the summers, we had to work on ourselves and work on the field. And I was doing a summer league too. So it was hard to watch everyone go abroad and me just be there doing my summer league.
Lots of sacrifice that comes with being an athlete. You got to give up all those fun things you want to do with your friends.
Right. It is a sacrifice to make, but it's definitely worth it.
And are there any last words, comments you want to say before we sign out?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for bringing me on your interview.
Of course.
And your podcast, and to future players. I would just say keep working hard on the field and in the gym. Stay focused, stay determined, and you can do whatever you believe in yourself. You can do whatever you can do if you believe in yourself and keep working and stay focused.
Thank you for coming on, Bella. Next week, we're going to have our next athlete, Eric Parnell, D1 basketball. See you guys soon.